Hello, HyperCycle community. Today, we are going to dive into the heart of innovation, and by that I mean our engineering team. As we all know, 2024 has been a groundbreaking year for HyperCycle's technology, and we're excited to have none other than our Chief Technical Officer, Dan Toliver, with us today. Dan, welcome. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Great to be here. Thanks, Jack.
We are happy to have you then. So let's start looking back at 2024 because it's been a year very intense, filled with product development, deliveries, but also challenges. And I guess I would like you to walk us through all the key milestones that you have achieved this year, if you want to talk about that.
Uh, yeah, well, all of them would be a long list, but I can throw out a few. So, node factories, I think that was a really big one this year, being able to put together um, this kind of business that encapsulates all of the different pieces that have to go into a node and then allows people to manage that business and ultimately to sort of franchise off of it as they are unlocking new nodes from their node factory. I think that was a pretty major arc of product design and of engineering as well. The Aimifier, which ended up producing a ton of aims for us, I think that was another milestone as well. Obviously, HTS was a big milestone. We did a bunch of hyper appliance work in terms of distributing those out, but also in terms of the engineering behind the scenes for getting the HyperCycle node set up on the hyper appliance, getting aims that were compatible with it, and then working through a lot of interface issues of various kinds with it. The Explorer, which I believe we're launching very soon, so by the time people see this, it will presumably be out. That was another milestone on our side. There's I'm reading from a list. I'm not just making this up as I go. I actually prepared for this, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I would be wandering around a lot more in the crevices of my mind if I had to do this in real time. Uh, there has been a lot of deep work that we've done in the kind of engineering, I guess more in the R&D side of things, um, on the implementation of Sato servers and the specification of those over the course of this year. That's mostly led by Robert, with myself and Tufi involved, and then a couple people on the implementation side. Um, that's been very productive this year, and I think that we will see fruit from that tree, no pun intended, ripening next year and coming out, which is amazing
Yeah.
because that gives us some abilities that it unlocks our ability to do things in a different way than we've been able to do it so far. And that's
Mm.
part of the foundational story of HyperCycle. But that kind of deep work is something that just takes a long time. Those seeds take a long time to grow, and it can't really be rushed. And probably my favorite thing that we launched this year on the HyperCycle side is the HyperY project actually, which again I think will have been announced by the time people watch this, so it's okay for me to talk about it a little bit. This is a great project. I'm really excited about it.
Oh, so many things, Dan. Thank you. I guess I agree with what you are saying. The hypercycle tree has so many branches
Yeah.
that even for us on the marketing side, it was a bit stressful to imagine how you will pull that out. How you will be able to connect all those moving parts together and actually design what was intended. So really, really impressed by the work that you all did, and really congratulations to all of you. Uh, I'm sure that there were some moments that stood out for you, and perhaps you had a major challenge that you had to overcome, or maybe an unexpected breakthrough. Maybe you want to talk about that a bit.
Yeah. Um, you know, I didn't mention it on that list above because we haven't launched it yet. But something I'm really excited about is the Hackathon Kit. So this is a kind of bootstrapping kit or SDK for app developers to be able to build on top of HyperCycle. A lot of the big picture stuff comes down to perspective, and that's changed a lot. That perspective that we have on what we're building and how we're building it and what HyperCycle is, that perspective has changed a lot over 2024. So we're seeing HyperCycle very differently now than we did a year ago. And this hackathon kit is both the outcome of changes in perspective that we fought for. Like these are not gentle changes in perspective where you just kind of gently walk or flow, and drift into a new perspective. These are things that we're actively fighting for, to climb these kind of hills so that we can see things differently from the top of that hill. And we fought for some changes in perspective over the first half of 2024. So the Hackathon Kit is both the outcome of that, but it also is stimulating still more changes in our perspective as we focus on what it really means to run applications in this fully distributed setting, and to run them on top of this fully distributed engine that we're building. And so I think this is the most exciting thing, really, that HyperCycle is doing. It changes the way that AI works as the Internet of AI, but it also, that change ripples out to ultimately change everything that we're doing with computers, including the way our apps are built and the way that they're used, really, because distributed apps work differently, and for the most part they work differently in a good way. So I'm really excited about that.
Thanks for the great insights, Dan. If you don't mind, the next segment of our interview will focus on an outlook for 2024. And my first question is, looking ahead to the year ahead, what are some of the most exciting developments your team is working on? And what should our community be excited about going into 2025?
Well, you know that I hate talking about things before they happen. um, but since it's the holidays, I'm in a generous mood. So technically, this hasn't been released yet, but I mentioned the HyperY project, and in my mind, that really is the most exciting thing that we've worked on to date in 2024, in terms of the impact. Like it's such a great project. There's a great team of people on both sides of that who are really putting the benefit to this global movement first, and I think that makes such a difference when we're engaged with a group like that, and we can really work together to build something that meets the needs of a broad community, in a way that's very focused and is not impacted by incentive misalignments. It makes a huge difference. And from a technical perspective, this project paves the way for building in this new distributed style that I was talking about, because we're building an interface that allows us to chat with multiple agents and interact with them in sophisticated ways simultaneously. And those agents are drawn from a cast of, in the case of the HyperY project, a cast of thousands, tens of thousands potentially, and they're pulled in as needed to help the user with whatever they need. So really, that's going to end up serving as a template for everything that we build as we continue to build applications on top of this and scale this out. And so these ideas that we're developing there on the interface side are really a way of engaging with this fully distributed setting. It's a microcosm of it, but it also is stretching
Yeah.
what we're looking at in terms of the numbers involved. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about this.
It's like a huge sandbox for HyperCycle.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm.
That's right. And it really maps well to the federated nature of that movement, right? Because there's, over 12,000 independent associations, And so each of those really is its own independent, autonomous agent. And you need to be able to interact with those and ask questions and perform operations, book times, book rooms, do different things with those agents independently in a single unified interface. And so that really perfectly maps to our desire to build these fully distributed apps and to build interfaces that work over top of this distributed system that's underlying it. And distributed, I need a better word than that. Maybe I should say decentralized system, but that word comes with so much baggage these days, right? What I really mean is a system of independently interacting, sometimes cooperating, sometimes transacting agents. And we're able, part of the magic that HyperCycle brings is that we're able to allow these agents a wide variety of different ways of interacting. So this isn't just actors who are engaged in some kind of economic game where they're using game theoretic economic incentives to try to coerce their behavior so they work together. And it's not the alternative, which is the corporate setting where you've got a big data center and you've got a bunch of servers that are just forced to cooperate with no kind of with no choice in the matter. These are actually independently interacting agents who can transact if they need to in terms of like micropayments on an agent to agent basis made autonomously. It's the agent's decision to do that unilaterally. But they can also choose to cooperate if they want to, right? It's up to the agent. So this is a different kind of dynamic for building a system like this. And decentralized system and distributed system, neither of those terms quite cover what we're trying to do here. But this HyperY project really pushes the state of the art in that. As you said, it's a great sandbox for this.
Okay, I see. That's very exciting. So
Yeah.
much liberty for the AI agent that I'm almost jealous as a human. Because we are creating a system where every agent can do whatever they want and they can benefit from each other and they can create some new ways to operate together. So it's a very creative environment, I find.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't be too jealous of the AI agents though. I mean, partly because I think part of our explicit goal is to empower human beings, but also because humans have really such a wide way of interacting with each other, right? So, so the ways that humans are able to work together and to convince each other to work together and to cooperate are so sophisticated compared to what we can do with computers. Like the convincing computers to work together, there's the kind of the you will do what I tell you because that is the only thing that you can do, and you have no agency in the matter way of doing this, which is what 99% of our interactions with computers are like, and especially when computers are interacting together in a data center behind the corporate firewall, like they have no choice in the matter. There's no agency that they have there. And if we look at nodes in a decentralized system, this is a very prescribed set of behaviors that they're following. They have a little bit of agency, perhaps, but that protocol is very specific in what they must do at different times. Otherwise, nobody even listens to them. They have really very little choice in how they message or when they message other nodes. And if they do anything out of line, they're just completely ignored. And it's sort of a very draconian regime. It's more than that. It's really, they have to fulfill a very specific role, or they're just ignored by the rest of the group. They're basically kicked out. So humans have all kinds of behaviors that are not modeled in computer agents at all at this point. We have very sophisticated and subtle ways of working together that are almost impossible to quantify. And to be able to have anything remotely like that with computers, we have to think very differently than we've been able to think so far. So I wouldn't be too jealous of the agents yet, but the goal of them is ultimately to empower humans to be able to have richer digital lives. Because again, our descendants are going to look back at this time period and what we're struggling with in terms of computers and our software and our systems and the way that these things interact, and they're going to just shake their heads that we've been able to get anything done at all, because this stuff is very primitive. This technology that we're using today is very primitive, and we don't really know what we're doing yet when it comes to computers. So there is a huge amount of opportunity, a huge green field for being able to try to craft the types of systems and the types of actors within those systems that can actually interact with each other in ways that are getting closer to, or stepping a little bit into that domain of sophistication and subtlety that humans have when we interact with each other. And we're opening the door to that in a few different dimensions in HyperCycle.
Thank you for that great outlook, Dan. I'm sure the community is really excited what they heard. We now have a mini AMA with some questions from our community. And my first question is HyperCycle able to compute tasks on the network already? And have AI models been implemented into HyperCycle nodes yet?
Yeah. There's a lot of examples of this. We've got a reg working actually as part of that HyperY project. This is running on a third-party operator, one of our partners. So that's a really exciting component. So the HyperY system makes use of these kind of independently acting agents, which are HyperCycle nodes, running at the moment 2 different kinds of regs behind the scenes, but we can open the door for more of those. Go ahead, Chuck.
What's a reg? Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So retrieval augmented generation, but basically it's just a database. Okay. So, we've got one that's using a vector database, one that's using Elasticsearch. And effectively what you're doing is taking your query that you have for the LLM, or, whatever it is, running it into this database so that you can get some more results, and then taking the query and all of those results, this is the augmented part, and passing that to the LLM. So it then has more context to be able to give you a good answer. It doesn't have all those database entries and all of that information, but you have that because you've been able to grab that for this specific thing. So for the HyperY project, we're grabbing content that's specific to HyperY. We've got tens of thousands of documents at this point. And rather than trying to fine tune an LLM or something with that information, what we're doing is just grabbing the information out of the database that is relevant for that query, packing it into the context that the LLM can then work with. And the LLM's job is really then to just kind of smooth out that answer, to take, the words that are in those documents and kind of work those into an answer. And then we've also got, this is another really important aspect of it, we've got references, because we know the context for that, then we know where that answer came from, and we can actually reference those specific documents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, there's a lot of other examples. We've got the Science United AIM running on the Hyper appliances. We've got Web Scraper that we're planning to bring out soon there, that will actually be useful in building up these and maintaining these reg systems. So those two dovetail very nicely together. We've got a bunch of demos that are ready to go out the door. We've got the VoiceBoard demo. We've got Pandoc. We've got others. And I think we've got, at this point, we've got dozens, over 40 AIMs in our registry. And we haven't even opened that for submissions yet. So, we haven't opened up our AI marketplace for people to bring in their AIMs at this point. So that's just like our early alpha partners, and we've already got more than 40. So the answer is yes to both of those questions.
Yeah, definitely.
Great insight. That sounds like a lot of scaling to come with the new year. My next question is, given the surge in Ethereum gas costs, is HyperCycle considering the use of layer 2s or other solutions to bring down costs for users?
Yeah. And this is really important to us, especially as we start to roll out more features and more things that people can do with their node factories in 2025. We will see a lot of use. I mean, it depends on what you're doing with it, but there will be lots of opportunities for people to make use of their node factories in different ways. And if each of those is going to hit them with a huge gas fee every time they do something, that really is going to add a lot of friction to it. So this is a really important problem for us. There's multiple proposals on the table. It's too early to talk about details. We're still sorting this out, but we're looking at layer twos. We're looking at alternative chains, but we're also looking at potentially doing some modifications to the existing Ethereum-based system, which would reduce, or in some cases completely eliminate, the cost for making use of your node factory in these different opportunities that are coming out in the new year.
That's all from me. Back to you, Jack.
Yeah. I mean, it's been fantastic discussing with you. That I could go on for for all day, right? Yeah. I mean, you've been sharing all those intel, and even for me and for Okan, it's exciting to imagine the scale that is going to expand for HyperCycle, because we have barely started in 2024, and now we are ready to deliver. And I mean, I can't wait to be part of that, and to test all those products and all those demos, to see people make use of them. So I guess I want to say thank you to you, and the community is very excited and is always eager to have some more, to have more info on what we are building. They will come out with more questions in the course of 2025. So Okan and most of the Hyper Squad will be gathering all the intel for that, and we will forward it to you. Um, if you and I'm addressing to the community now, if you have some question, please come to us, join us on social medias, and don't hesitate to interact with us. You know that there is a place for you. We will always take care of what you have to say. We will always integrate your feedback. What you say to us means a lot. We have always been there for the community. Okan is a testament to that, because he was part of the community and now he's working with us, and so is Ray, and so is Antonis, and so will be more people. So thank you for all the support that you have been providing to us. Don't hesitate to meet us on our social medias, on Telegram, X, YouTube, and enjoy your holidays, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, happy holidays, everyone. See you in the new year.